Hey, Com 252 class. This is Joe, your professor. I'm back. Anyway, so if you ever get to know me, I'll explain why there's a huge Stay Puft thing behind me the last couple of weeks. Anyway, or what's up with all this basement. Thank you so much for sharing. Clearly, somebody decided to condition his hair, and this is what it looks like. So, thank you so much for sharing your emotions. Those folks who did it, some of you didn't do it. You really should be watching these videos. And I appreciate it. So some of the ones that I suck at are patience is number one. I'm terrible. Anger. I'm pretty much bad at all emotions. You think I'd teach this, that'd be better, but not so much. We're going to go over chapter 5 this week and we're going to talk about culture. Now, remember, when I said when we talk about culture in this class, we're going to break it down rather than looking at it from an Eastern Western standpoint of like the East, the Far East, and China and Asia, or West, America, London, all these places, not Kentucky. We want to look at it for me because I think it's easier to understand as a family. Because somewhere along the way, you were either raised by your parents, grandparents, friends, relatives, wolves, somebody raised you. And in that raising, you learned your culture, right? For good or for better or for worse. You learned your culture. Culture is an established, coherent set of beliefs, attitudes, values, and practices shared by a large group of people. Straight out of the book. But that's your family, right? Some of you have traditions. Let's talk about Thanksgiving's coming up. We just did a Halloween tradition. Halloween's a big thing here in the Lewis household. And I tried to get along with his mother just long enough so that we can go trick-or-treating, right? And it's a big thing because you can see down here, and I'm a big movie geek, and most of my outside life outside of UK is do working movie conventions and things like that. And so Halloween's a big thing. So I go out, we go 2 hours, we dress up, we do the whole 9 yards. I was Bowser this year. And it's a cultural thing. It's learned. And hopefully my son will also do it with his kids and he has warm memories about it. You have the same thing. There's certain things you do at Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatever holiday you set. So for Thanksgiving, let's talk about this. I was having this conversation this morning at breakfast with a friend of mine. And his dad, they never had turkey. He hated turkey, his dad. So they never had turkey. They had ham. And this morning his partner was ordering fried turkey. And he's like, yeah, I never, and just started it. And it realized that, oh, this is something I could talk about later today because some of you have traditions. Some of you, you don't put Christmas lights or anything up or holiday lights till after Thanksgiving. Some of you don't go any further for Thanksgiving. Sometimes you go to the movies. We have traditions, we have cultures, and it's all there by our family. And your cultural beliefs, attitudes, and values are all learned. It's not innate, it doesn't come in your DNA. It is learned. Culture is communicated through interpersonal communication. Different cultures, this is called, you communicate with someone from a different culture. You learn about things. So some of you at one point you've talked about your significant others in your writing, and you've had to go to a holiday thing or some sort of family get together, and they've served something you didn't like, or they've done it in a way that you think that's weird. It's just a different culture. It doesn't have to be East and West. It can just be you learning other people, right? Culture is layered. Many of us have to know that one belong to one culture, but some of us belong to many different cultures, many different backgrounds. Whether that be um, whether that be your ethnicity, whether that be your religion, all these things are part of culture, and culture is lived, right? You live your culture, you learn your culture, and you live through it, and you become it. So there's co-cultures. Communication culture theory, the most power within a society to discern the dominant culture. Now, what I mean by that, it says it in a society, right? So if the majority of Americans speak English, then most people are going to are going to think that they have to speak English. So let me break that down even further to you. Every one of you in your family has somebody who's in charge. And what I mean by that is this. Culture up here, complicated. Down here, you'll understand it so much better. How many of you have a grandmother or a grandfather that everybody listens to, whether they want to or not? And you're like, but why did they get? Because it's a patriarchal or matriarchal part of your family. Somebody has most of the power and they influence everyone else. Same thing in culture, same thing in your family, right? It's just how it goes. We also have prejudice when it comes to culture. And you know what a prejudice is predisposition to hating them. I grew up in southeastern Kentucky, so I know I completely sound right, like it, right? And I grew up in southeastern Kentucky in a holler. And I'll talk about religion. I'm not picking on any particular religion, but what I would say, and this is a good example, some of you will know this. Well, those people down there are Baptists. Well, those people are Southern Baptists, and these people are First Baptist. And sometimes, not true for all of them, but I bet you know, especially small towns, they all three think the other ones are going to hell, and why would you ever go to that church? We have a prejudice where we think that our ideas or beliefs or the way that we live our lives is superior to others. It's just that simple. Well, we do this with the turkey. We don't have turkey. Turkey is awful at Thanksgiving. We have ham. What do you mean you don't put M&Ms on top of your salads? Everybody does something weird and they think it's superior. Everybody. All of you out there. All of you could give me, and you know what? For 5 extra points, if you listen to this and watch this, I'll give you 5 extra points. Okay? If you can message me, email, and tell me what's the weirdest thing your little family does. I bet there's something. We have an uncertainty avoidance, so we don't like to change. And if we know things aren't going to be the way we expected, then we don't like it right now. So I have to advise students at the University of Kentucky, and a lot of times I'll talk about education abroad. And as a first gen student, I'm the first person in my family to go to college. I often feel that a lot of people don't want to do education abroad because there's an uncertainty. It's like, oh, I don't need to do they not speak English? What if it's going to be touched in English or it's taught in English? Whatever. We have these things. Oh my gosh, I can't go over there. I don't even know how to act. I don't know what I would do. Oh my God. Some of you right now, you have anxiety and you're thinking about it right now. Oh my gosh, I don't know. What would I wear? We also have problems with our individual cultures and collective cultures. And think about this in your family. Is it more important in your family to be who you are and there is absolute priority set on you being the person that you want to be and who you are? Or is there more priority and more importance put on the family? Individualism versus collectivism, collectivistic cultures, the collective. The family is the most important. The individual is the most important. I bet you there's a half a dozen of you in here that can go back and forth on this. We also have power distance. The view of unequal distribution power is acceptable is known as high power distance cultures and is considered normal and even desirable for people of different social and professional status to have different levels of power. Same thing in your family. You have people who in your family have more power than others. Like I was talking about earlier. You may have a grandfather, a grandmother, something like that that sway, and a great aunt, something that sway. Why does everybody go to Aunt Melinda's house? You may not have an Aunt Melinda, but you know what I'm talking about. And even if you don't have it in your family, you know somebody else who has it in their family. And then we have high and low context cultures. Think about this in your family. High context cultures in China, Korea, and Japan tend to presume that others within the culture will share their viewpoints and thus perspective perceive situations in much the same way. Everybody's going to see it the same way, right? Low context cultures. People tend not to presume that others share their beliefs, attitudes, and values, so they strive to be more informative, clear. Same thing in your family. How many of you all keep secrets in your family? And how many of your families just tell everything? And everybody knows about Aunt June's affairs or Uncle Rob's drinking habits. Or some of you have families where we'll never talk about Aunt Gertrude's, whatever it is, or the little nip she takes at during Sunday meetings. We all have those things, but some families embrace them and some of them don't. Emotional displays. Some of you have families where you hug, you're close, you kiss, all those things. Some of you, you don't. Same thing in cultures. Masculinity versus uh femininity. Feminism? Feminine. Being feminine. Masculinity culture values included the accumulation of material wealth as an indicator of success and assertiveness. Feminine cultures emphasize compassion, consensus. Who has a family where you're all about being happy? They want you to be happy. Yeah, I don't either. If I got a new job next week, they'd ask me how much and what I was going to do with the money and yada, yada, yada. It depends. Some of you, that you're going through this because someone told you that you need to make more money in your family. Some of you, you just want to do it because you want to have a better life. And all of us want to make more money. But you know exactly what I'm talking about. With certain families, they place the most importance on your income and how much you own and what you have. Views of time. We're going to skip that one a little bit. World mindedness, abstract communication, combination. All right. So, what I want you to think about, because I said this would be a short one, is thinking about your family. And this is not going to be your assignment this week, but I want you to think about your family. What's important in your family? Is it stuff? Is it feelings? Is it happiness? Is it success? Are you able to talk about what's going on in your family, or is everything a secret? Are you able to display hugs, affection, or is it more of, hey, how you doing? Or a punch? Not a bad thing, just like that dude thing. How does your family function? Because I want to send it home one more time. Your culture comes from your family. And when we talk about culture in comm classes, communication classes, or any class, it's so much easier to break it down thinking about familia, family units, and how they function, and what they do to function, and what you're used to, and then how much you feel out of place when you're at someone else's family. That's culture. Going to someone else's house that first time for Thanksgiving, maybe it's a significant other, some holiday, and you feel out of place because everything's different, out of your comfort zone, out of your bubble. That's just culture. You're experiencing a new culture. It's not as big as going to Japan, although that's part of it, or just deciding to move to South Korea to be a K-pop singer. I don't know, maybe one of you want to do it. I can't stand the stuff, but I'm sure some of you on here like it. It's not that complicated. Just break it down. Break it down to the simplest thing, your family. And I promise you that it'll help you understand as you decide and decipher cultures and study them throughout the rest of your college career, because it will come up. Then it'll make it so much easier to understand when you just break it down to families and what you were taught. This has been Chapter 5. Joe. Toodles.